us now. There is no time here, only your presence. Show us your glory. Speak to us now. Speak to us now. Here in this place, we humbly bow. Our hearts are waiting. Speak, Lord. There is no time here, only your presence. Speak to us now. Oh, Lord. Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, Holy Spirit, more of you. Here in this place, we humbly bow. Our hearts are waiting. Speak to us now. There is no time here, only your presence. Show us your glory. Speak to us now. Speak to us now. Lord, we need to hear a word from you, Jesus. Just one word will do. Speak to us now. Speak to us now. Speak to us now. Breath of God. Breath of God. Breathe on us.
Marriage isn't always perfect, but healing is always possible. Welcome to Let the Healing Begin with your hosts, Apostles Lee and Kimberly Thomas. This podcast tackles real life issues with raw truth and a powerful his and her perspective. We talk marriage, we talk sex, we talk loss, love, and relational challenges couples don't always say out loud. If you're ready for honest dialogue, faith-filled insight, and a practical wisdom that restores connection and strengthens your marriage, you're in the right place. Come, journey with us as we let the healing begin.
Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. Welcome to Let the Healing Begin. We are your hosts,
Lee.
and Kimberly Thomas, and we are so glad that you have joined us tonight for Let the Healing Begin. We have some information that we want to share with you tonight, very hot topic. But before we get started, we want to put this disclaimer out there. We do not claim to have mastered this thing called marriage, nor do we have the monopoly on marriage. But what we do have is a marriage. And as of the 12th, we have a marriage of 24 years and a 33 long year love affair. That's right. Yeah. So we have a marriage, we have experience, and most of all, we have a mandate from God to share with you on your journey in life in this thing called marriage. So we are here for it tonight, and we are ready to let the healing begin. Tonight we have a very hot topic. And as you can see, we both have on red, but we have on two different shades of red because this topic may be a little bit hotter or a little bit fiery than for some than others. So tonight we are going to talk about something that a lot of couples do not like to talk about, do not like to entertain a lot. And this is something that, and people who know me know that I'm not a very vocal person. I don't talk a lot about, stuff that happens behind closed doors. But tonight we're gonna talk about some stuff that we need to talk about in marriage because there are some things that we need to understand about marriage. So we are going to open up tonight with a very hot topic. Whose body is it anyway? Whose body?
Yeah. Whose body is it? Explain that. I'm gonna let you start off with that.
All right. So tonight we went to bed last week or talking about this topic because there's so much misconception and so many things that deal with this particular topic, especially in marriage. You know, in marriage we have joined together as one. We are one, but when it comes down to whose body is it, who does this body really belong to, we have a misconception. So tonight we're going to go to the word first so that we'll have a clear understanding of what the word tells us about who the body belongs to. So when we look at this, listen, I want you guys to listen because this is scriptorial based. And so for those of you that say we way off, we not. We not. This comes from the word tonight. The word says in First Corinthians chapter 7, verse number 5, it tells us, do not deprive one another except with consent for a time that you may have given yourself to fasting and to praying, and come together again so that Satan does not tempt you because of the lack of self control. So, when we find ourselves in marriage, and it comes down to grown folks' business that takes place in the bedroom, and we're talking about sex tonight, starting off. But we're going to talk about the whole topic of whose body is this. So when we even begin to look at the fact that even if we go up a few verses above verse number 5 in First Corinthians chapter 7, if you start looking around 3 and 4, it tells you that we share authority. We share authority on each other's bodies. So, in actuality, when you become one, when you become husband and wife, the husband's body belongs to the wife, and the wife's body belongs to the husband. So, when we start thinking about this topic, whose body is it anyway? We are not supposed to withhold ourselves from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But
why do women do that? One, just me now, lots of experience, control,
okay,
manipulation,
okay,
beat, batter, and bruising. Here's another one. Anger, so you say.
okay.
And I just don't want to.
So in all of that,
Mm-hmm.
in all of that, when we do that, we're dead wrong. We're dead wrong because we have stepped outside of the word of God. We have stepped outside of what God has intended for marriage to be. So when we start thinking about it, when we start thinking about this thing that goes along with marriage that's called sex, the Lord tells us that actually we are to satisfy one another's pleasures. So when we start using sex as a weapon, we're dead wrong. When we start using sex as a way of manipulation and controlling, we're dead wrong. And you know, ladies, sometimes we get angry. And I'm gonna say, I'm saying we as the population of women, because this has never been my thing. And but when you get so angry to the point to where it's all about, okay, well, we'll exchange sex for payment of bills. We'll exchange sex for money. Okay, well, just put the money on the table for the bills or whatever, and then that's when the sex comes into play, you're dead wrong, because at that point you just became a harlot. Yeah. You just became a harlot with your husband, because that is not how things are supposed to go. The word tells us that we are mutual owners of each other's body. We have the authority. We share the authority on each other's bodies. And so this is very important, because this is why a lot of marriages are breaking up. This is why a lot of marriages are seeing extramarital affairs, and you're seeing your partner go out and find somebody else that they want to or that they find because there are many loose women out here, and they're just waiting. And let me tell you, they're watching. They're
Why?
watching.
Why do you think that men step outside of the relationship whenever sex is involved?
There are different reasons. There are different reasons. I believe that when a man steps outside of a relationship where sex is involved, it is because he is being deprived by the one that he is joined to. And many times, people, women, walk around and use sex as a bargaining chip. It's a bargaining chip. So if I'm pissed off with you, then ain't no rubbing, touching, patting, don't none of that. You stay on your side, don't feet over here, because that's just the way that some handle it. So I'm mad. So when I'm mad, I shut the door to sex because I know you want sex. So I'm gonna shut the door to that.
That's abuse.
It is. It is. It is. I'm not gonna
Okay,
argue.
that's
I'm not gonna
abuse.
argue about that. That is abuse. And the thing is, a man can only take so much. A man can only take so much. And some men will only take so much, because maybe you have so many, like I said, you have so many loose women out here. You got women that are watching your man when you least expect, and some of them are so brazen and bold that they don't care about you. You and your man could be out in public, and it happens to us all the time. And I know that I know that I am a foot and an inch shorter than he is. I know this. But one thing about it, I know you see me too, because I'm too big for you not to see me. So there are plenty of women that are so disrespectful, and they are so brazen that they do things. We were recently in Walmart, and I know this lady saw me. And so she just goes holly dolly, just flaunting her little happy hips around. So I moved to the side, and I went, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look at this over here. And as soon as I moved, she made her beeline right to where he was looking at the t-shirt. So she's gonna get across the aisle from him, looking at the t-shirt. She ain't want no darn t-shirt. She's trying to get in his face and look in his face. I said, I know darn well. And she didn't know what to do, because she thought I was gone. And so she starts looking all crazy in the face. But some people just don't care. We have been together. People have literally been walking with us, supposedly part of our group that we were with. And you have these females walking in front of us, heisting up their clothes and stuff. People do not care. Ladies don't have no respect for the, well, no, yeah. I'm gonna use that. Ladies, because the word says he created a woman. So ladies don't have any respect for themselves. When they see something they want, they go after it. They don't care whether it has a ring on its finger or not. So it does not matter. So when you start depriving the one who has ownership of your body, then the floodgates open. They're already out here on the prowl, but then they start coming out like wildcats. We got some cats in our neighborhood and they just be all over the place. We don't own cats. I don't care for cats. But that's how they come out. They come out like wild cats. And so you have to be careful because the Bible tells us that we do not withhold sex because of the simple fact that when we withhold sex too long and we don't come back together, we leave room for the devil to come in.
You do a lot of times, but I think a lot of it has to do with the way you're raised. You know, uh, men, they tend to want to be with you all the time. They tend to be more aggressive. And once a female sees that you're that aggressive, okay, that's a form of control for me. So when I get angry at you or mad because you didn't do this, that, or the third, then I'm gonna cut that off. Okay, I feel like that's cool. All that's good for just a moment. Because the older women say, don't go to bed mad with your husband, don't do this, but this after you done got older. But what happens when you're not older? Because I feel like you got common sense. You know, if the man happens to see somebody walking on by and he look around, then all of a sudden he get that typewriter face, because he know you looking, but oh, you like what you see. But if I'm not receiving what I desire at home, and I say, well, I like to see you this, and I like to see you in that, why don't you do it? Because a lot of men be like, I asked you, I did this, I did that, and then the women follow along the lines about, well, that's not me, but we used to do, and you did all that to get me, not saying that it was provocative or nothing, but hey, I like what I see, and now you went from yeah to cankles. And I know y'all don't know what I'm gonna help y'all. From the neck to the ankles. Cankles. You can't see nothing. Zero.
Sister Alma brought up a very valid point, and you and I talked about this a little bit earlier, before coming on, about this very thing. Why is the bedroom exciting before marriage, but then after you get married, you become a missionary? And that's what we were talking about when we said about the cankles, because there are times when you would wear the little provocative clothes and you would be a little flauncy and things of that nature, but then when you get married, there's a difference. You used to go to bed, all, yeah, and then now you dress like a missionary. You wrap from your head to your toes. And so this is the stuff that we have to think about. We have to think about the fact that there's so much stuff that is happening that we can't just flip the script. We can't flip the light switch on and off. And that's one of the things that we talk about often, because I'm old school. I was raised old school. I was raised by my grandma. So, I'm the one that wears a t-shirt or a camisole all year long. I'm the one that wears a slip with every kind of dress. It does not matter what kind of dress I have on a slip. I'm that one. And so there are some things that he likes and he would love to see me in, and I may even put it on. But one thing about it, I'm not gonna have my girls all pushed up here choking me under my neck. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna have something on that's so short that you can see the rim of my tail. I'm not gonna do that. Or my pawns, as as the old people say. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. And I understand, and he understands that. Now, there are some things that he likes that are form fitting, and I'll put it on and I'll be like, oh, yeah, this is cute. But when I look in a full body length mirror, I'm like, no, I'm not going to wear this. And he's like, well, what's wrong with it? I like it. I'm your husband. I like it. I like to see that. I want to see that. You got a good figure. You got this
Y'all
going on.
see
You
her
got that
face?
going
Y'all
on.
see her face, right?
But no. Let me explain. Because I'm sure there's some women out there that they can attest to what I'm about to say. So in that, yes, it looks very nice. It's cute. It's a cute outfit. But to me, because of what I've been through, because I was abused and molested, certain things I'm just not going to wear because there's that stigma. If I put this on, it's going to cause attention to me. I don't wear anything that's going to draw attention to me. And so that's something that I had to get over. Now I wear certain things, but I know how to wear them modestly. And so that's what we have to understand. There's a way to wear things and you wear it modest. The Bible even tells us to wear modest apparel. You don't just come out with everything hanging out when you are a married woman. And I understand that our husbands like these things and oh yeah, that's my wife or whatever, but then that's kinds of stuff causes attention that sometimes causes other problems because as you stated, somebody else might see something and they got the type right ahead, and that's not going to be good for you.
Wait. Hold it. Wait. I don't have no problem with them looking. Because you with me. I already know what it is. They gonna know too. Look, I don't care about you looking. That's mine. But my thing is, let's get back to the real meat of the prop. What your man desires. When your husband or your significant other, however you want to put it, wants to see you in this, that, and the third, y'all need to talk about that. Me, okay, she old school. I'm older. I like my woman sexy. I married you because that was you was what I like. But don't turn into the missionary. You know, I got a big t-shirt, put it on, you know, keep me excited. I like that. Bedroom, I love all that. Be that for your husband. Now I understand when you go out the door, it's another thing, but you know what? The older you get, the closer you should get.
Right.
The older you get, the more you're supposed to be a little more uh I'll put it this way, nurturing. For the simple fact, y'all haven't seen no kids in my house, hey. That means they grown and gone. We can play. Learn to play again. Let's enjoy each other's company. Because if we gonna go to the old school way and the way your husband like it, we're gonna have to come to a compromise. All right, outside, okay, I can go with some of that. But inside, that's all me. Ain't nobody in here but me. What happened back then was then. Didn't you just say she can't count? 34 years. Yeah. You ought to be all right. But if you ain't, all this right here, and you scared, what?
Not scared. Not scared. But Alma also brought up another good point.
What it?
Don't share what goes on in your bedroom with other people, with other women.
That's a
One of the
good one.
things
That's a good one.
that's very important because that's what happens when you see a lot of friends start breaking up in friendship because they become too friendly with the other partner. And so it's very important to keep that kind of stuff to yourself. That's stuff that should be private. You should not be talking about that. We had a conversation on Mother's Day. Well, somebody else had a conversation. We were just parties to the conversation, which they were talking to us. But certain things you don't say, and certain things you don't entertain, because when you begin to entertain that, you are then welcoming people into your bedroom, whether it's what you participate in the bedroom or whether it's not. It's not anybody's business. But the thing is, your bedroom should be sacred to you and your mate. It's nobody else's business what is happening when you go there and you close those doors. So that's one of the things that we have to understand. But when we talk about it, you think about sex, and I remember the first comment about sex before marriage, because sex before marriage is exciting, it's fun. because right now, and for a lot of people today, they don't understand. There are so many people out here, when you're having sex before marriage, they not just sexing it up with you, baby. They sexing it up with everybody that would give it to them. And some of them giving it to them out of both draws legs. So you just got to really be mindful of that. But then when you try to start laying claim to people, and well, we're dating. Okay, you're dating, you're cohabitating while you're dating, which means that you're living together and you're fornicating. But one thing about that, and people, I want you to stop saying this, because all this stuff about we done been together all these years, and so we might as well be married. You
God.
not. You're not married. And yeah, you might be living like somebody that's married. But when it all boils down to it, you as a man are a much right man, and she
Mhm.
as a woman is a much
Much
right
right.
woman. That means any other man or woman has as much right to him or her as you do, because there is no honor in girlfriend and boyfriend living together.
What
There
does
isn't.
somebody said? What does it mean that the bedroom is undefiled? Okay, whatever goes on behind closed doors, and you both agree to whatever you're doing, that's you, because that's your business. That's what's going on back there. You're pleasing him, he's pleasing you. It's undefiled. It's
Right. It's
only defiled whenever you bring it outside the room. And if you grown past 21 and over 12, the light bulb should come on, because this I one of our friends said that's their good thing. Okay, your good thing or your whatever, that's your thing. Trust that. Keep that. That is something that you hold sacred and silent. See, this podcast right here is very shocking to a lot of people about her, because this is way outside the norm for her to actually speak and talk on these topics. But after a while, you got to come to the consensus that we grown and it's
yeah.
life for real, and you need to help somebody,
Right.
because this what's allowed to hear in your ears gonna help somebody, because this is a mistake that you don't have to make. The
Exactly.
bedroom is undefiled, but some people go outside the realm of that, and I'm speaking about some of the men that I've spoken to before this show. Oh, the bedroom's undefiled. The bedroom's undefiled. No, you act like a pedophile. That's what I feel like. Because some things, you're going overboard. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that is a form of control. But we need to do what we're doing together behind the door, and we agree together that that's what we're doing.
Right.
We don't have to go outside this old whacked out crazy stuff. You know what I mean? But that's undefiled. But on the outside of that, don't tell nobody what's going on in your room, and then be aware of the people that you call friends. Because some of your friends only come to get close to you to see what's going on in your playroom. And
Right.
a lot of things don't have to be said, because the way I look at her and the way she look at me, the first thing in their mind is, "Oh my God, I know what's going on with that." Do you?
No.
No, you don't.
No. We talk with our eyes, but we don't talk like that with our eyes. But anyway, just to piggyback on what was said about the bedroom being undefiled, I want to take it to a little more in depth of a level. When we talk about the bedroom being undefiled, that means that it's honorable. It's honorable, and not only is it honorable, it should remain sacred. And so when the bedroom is undefiled, it is what God has ordained as marriage
Mhm.
between a husband and a wife. That means a male and a female, nothing else. Nothing else. There's none of this newfound thing where you got two men talking about my husband or my wife, that the devil is a whole lie. And the same thing with two women. No, that is not honorable, first of all, and that's not what God has ever intended to be so. So when it talks about the bedroom being undefiled, it's the honorable thing between a husband and a wife and what you consider honorable.
Correct.
Within the scopes of your marriage. So it's very important for us to understand that. First is honorable, because marriage is honorable, because the marriage between a husband and a wife is honored by God, because that's what he has ordained. So we have to make sure that we understand that, and we take all of it into consideration when we are even talking, because that mutuality that comes into the bedroom or even into the marriage, you have to understand that you have to, first of all, have mutual respect for one another.
That's it.
Because there are some people, they don't care riding or walking. They married by title. When they get behind closed doors, they like cats and dogs. They don't like each other. They talk to each other any kind of way. And sometimes even in public, that's how they treat one another. And so you have to understand that what God has joined together, because some of us put our own marriages together. Some of us have went out, we chose people that we thought was gonna be the one,
because of the situation and the
right?
circumstances. We could obtain all these different things, and we could have the nice home, the nice car, we got some money, and you look good, I look good, you got a good position, I got a good position. But and all of that, we was obtaining things of the world,
Right.
not as a relationship one another.
Mhm.
You know, once I took the time to really look at you and you look at me, who are you?
Exactly.
You know, who are you?
Exactly.
And that's the whole thing. We got to understand who we are as a couple, but most of all, as a person, your own individual. Because we started off this way. You said earlier, sex was fun. Yeah, because we liked each other.
Right.
But as we got together, other things came into the mix. Children, uh, life itself, because life be life in with, house note, car note, all these things that we desired and obtained, and then think about why we was getting it, instead of maybe one or two things at a time, so we both could have money, we both could, go take each other out to eat, or take ourselves out to eat, or even just buy yourself a nice blouse or pair of slacks or some of that nature. But whenever you stretch yourself so thin, all that comes into play in your household, in your marriage, in your relationship, as far as the sex goes. Because you know what? One, I'm tired because I had to work this overtime to make sure I can have some extra money now. And now you've been here all day. You come home and then I'm like, "What's up?" And you know, and you ain't cook. I mean, cook. I mean, you was doing all that before. Let's go back here. I don't want to. But the Bible say that body belong to me. So what's the problem that body don't want this body right now? Because I own that, but that don't want this. All that come into play.
Right.
See, we have to think about all that. It's a whole gambit of things, but we have to really take the time to really think about this. And it also comes into that right there. I gotta look at you, you gotta look at me, and we gotta talk.
Yes.
Not get angry and talk at each other, talk to each other.
Yes. And on that note, we are going to take a break, and we will be back in a few moments to continue this hot topic. Hot topic. Whose body is it anyway? We'll be right back.
Take me to the King. I don't have much to bring. My heart is torn in pieces. It's my offering. Take me to the King. Truth is, I'm tired. Options are few. I'm trying to pray, but where are you? I'm all churched out, hurt and abused. I can't fake what's left to do. Come on. Truth is, I'm weak. No strength to fight, no tears to cry. even if I tried. But still, my soul refuses to die. One touch will change my life. Take me to the King. I don't have much to bring. My heart's torn in pieces. It's my offering. Lay
I'm not gonna mention your name, but you said you was looking for Mr. Goodbar and you got a snicker. Okay, let me help you with that just a little bit. First of all, we have this thought or this perfect individual in our mind. And he can be bronzy, he can smile, laugh, carry on a conversation. But did you ever think for one half a second that you gave him the ammunition to get to you? Because the first thing he said, well, what you like? What's really happening with you, baby? You got pretty teeth. All this, and and then all of a sudden, okay, well, tell me some of the things. Well, I like movies. I like this, and everything you say you like. For them first 2 weeks, you getting all that, all the attention. Ain't no way he could be this nice, but I'm going by what I see. But if you listen to me, I hear what you say, but I see what you don't say. Or I hear what you say, but I'm listening at what you don't say and what you don't do. See, because one thing for sure and two things for certain. The real you will show up if you're really looking. Don't look to see the bad in them because it's already there. Because there's certain things you like. When you get off work, you tired, but you told John Boy he could come by. So you rush home, put on this new game face, and then when you come in, and it's all good, and you thinking, Lord have mercy, I gotta go to work in the morning. He just won't go home because you didn't tell him. Look, bro, I work an 8-hour job. All these bills belong to me. I'm not trying to get rid of you. I like you and all this right here, but this is how it's going down. So maybe Thursday we can get together, uh, about say such and such a time, and I'll meet you there.
Right.
See, there's nothing more than a man that wants that woman can stand on her own. And at that point, you really find out something too about the man that's in front of you, because he gonna meet you halfway. Okay, first of all, I got to come and meet you there. Two, I don't have you coming to my house, so therefore you're not invading my privacy. Because when I leave you, I can leave. If I want you to come when we get together, I know this now. Not after I get into the midst of this and oh my God, I should have never did this. See, you have options. And then if he says, well, hold on, I got this. He's like, no, I got my half. No, I got this. It's the way he says it to let you know I got this. Okay, cool. You have to put yourself in a position to where you can see exactly who this individual is. Things are not like they used to be. Chivalry, they say chivalry ain't dead. But 2 days ago, we were at, no, yesterday, yesterday, we went to get something to eat after we went out and did all the sales and stuff. And I opened the door for my wife, and somebody drove by, and then they called me and said, you know what? I'm glad to see chivalry ain't dead. But see, that's my queen. But the only way you're gonna get what you want is you put yourself in that position. This is the way I want to be treated, and I'm not taking anything less. Count yourself as 100
Right.
instead of 99, because that ain't gonna do.
And that's so true. And I want to address the Mr. Goodbar and the Snicker on a different level, because there's so many times as women
Mhm.
we are looking for Mr. Goodbar, but we lower our standards. And that's why we end up with a Snicker, because we will fall for or go with whatever Mr. Snicker is putting down for a substitute. You know, I've heard it said before, and when I first heard it, I really didn't understand it, but I understand it better now. And some of you may understand what I'm saying. When you are looking and searching for Mr. Goodbar, a lot of times you just want a fire to be put out. So you really just want a fireman.
That's it.
You want a fireman. And so when you get your fireman, you end up with Mr. Snicker. But Mr. Snicker was able to put the fire out. So, okay, well, I'll deal with that. I'll deal with that until the next fire starts ablazing. And so now you've lowered your standard just to have that fire extinguished. And a lot of times, what we fail to realize is that Mr. Goodbar is really there and he's waiting, but he's waiting in the balance because he is watching you. And we don't realize that we're being watched. And so sometimes, just when Mr. Goodbar is getting ready to step forward, here you go and you let your guard down. And Mr. Snicker, he got a good rap game. He know how he know how to get his verbs and his nouns all wrapped up here together. You know, he got real good conversation. He knows just what to say because he's been watching you too. And most of the time, Mr. Snicker is really looking for a way to get with Miss Kit Kat so that he can go ahead and just do whatever it is that he want to do, because really sometimes it's a hot meal that he looking for. Sometimes it's just he want to be able to extinguish somebody's fire and move on to the next thing. He just want to see how easy it is to get to you. And so, right. And so this is the stuff that we have to understand, because a lot of times when we end up with Mr. Snicker, we have dropped our standards. And that's because Mr. Snicker's been looking at you and he's looking and saying, you know what? I could never talk to her. I could never, she's too high class and she really is all that. And Mr. Snicker has this image of you in his mind. And so now it's like a conquer thing. And when you drop your guard, hey, check.
Yeah, I mean, it's a checklist. Um, when I met my wife, she ain't like me.
At all.
Period.
At all.
But I had to tell her, this the man you looking for. You talking to your husband. She told me whatever, and I did like dirt on somebody's shoe.
I didn't say that. I didn't say dirt on nobody's shoe.
She called me the dirty old man.
I did. Dirty old man, not dirt on nobody's shoes.
What's the difference?
You was dirty. You were dirty.
But the thing of the matter is, I asked a question. I say, you looking and you can't see me. I said, but here's the deal. I clean up very well. I even brought my brother and them by and a few other guys, and they said the same thing. She out your class, she out your league. I said, you must be looking in your mirror, because that ain't what I see. And I asked her, I said, well, I tell you what, I clean up very well. So when I come back, if you know who I am, then I'll leave you alone. Otherwise, go out with me. And if you don't like me after that, I'll, leave you alone. Needless to say, I took her out because she didn't know who I was. And 34 years later, we're still here, because she had this person in her brain. Now, I had all of this and that, but I just wasn't her cup of tea, evidently, because I was Dirty Bert coming in there, for working.
Right.
And after she got to know who I was and see me, oh, man, now it's like glue. She stuck to me, But the thing of it is, she had a standard. Yeah. I did too. But some people, we can't look like the man in the office, because I'm not that kind of man. I'm an outdoors man. I'm a man's man. I'm not saying the man in the office ain't a man's man, but it's a difference. I get my hands dirty. See, I like to grab, touch, feel. That's me. But I know who I was, and I did watch her, because you want what you want. I wanted a good looking woman. I wanted an educated woman. I wanted one with some pretty teeth, all that. She had her own place, her own job. See, she came into the relationship with something. Not we had to start off from nothing. She had her own, I had my own. Now we got our own. So in the midst of that, You know, we had our ups and we had a lot of downs, but we fought through it all because one thing out of the whole nine, I've always, and she has always been able to tell each other the truth. Not saying it didn't make your heart hurt or ache, but you
Right.
know, I wasn't trying to go back through the things that I had been through in my life, even down to our home. I didn't even sign the paperwork without her being there because it wasn't gonna never be my yo. When you start a relationship, don't have my yo, our, because that's it. It's you and I, baby, against the world, and that's the way it go. That's the way it should go.
And one thing that you said that kind of struck me, you said that I had my standards, you had your standards. But a lot of times we come into relationships with false expectations.
Hmm.
We have expectations that are so far fetched
Astronomical.
that, that they, I mean, you couldn't touch them. You couldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. And so we set, it's not that we set our standards high, and it's nothing wrong with having high standards,
Hmm.
but we have unrealistic expectations of our mates. They may meet so many of our checkpoints on our list, and we're like, oh, okay, so this is good. But then when you really get into it and you get to know them, then you begin to see little things and you're like, well, you know what? I didn't sign up for this because I could have been with XYZ and P and Q. But then when you really and truly look at it, and I'm going to say this again, when it's God ordained, when God puts the marriage together, when He puts the marriage together, it's His checklist, it's
Hmm.
His standards. We don't have expectations and standards at that point because he knows what is best for us. And so we have to learn how to accept what he has for us and what he has allowed for us, because the thing is there are so many of us, and we both could have had anybody that we desire to have.
Let me touch on
I
the
mean,
other
I've
part.
had I've had lots of individuals that have approached me in life to where my life would have probably been a whole lot different from this, from my eyesight,
Mhm.
from looking at it through the natural eyes, looking at the wealth, looking at all of the material things, looking at all of these different things, and thinking, oh, well, yeah, that would have been it. But you never know what's on the other side of that.
Mhm.
So that's why you have to thank God. When God puts it together, He knows just what you need. Because He knew that I gotta have a rough neck. I can't have a softie. I can't have a softie because I'm not soft. So I gotta have a rough neck. I gotta have one that be like, get yourself together. Not physical, but you can speak to me to the point to where I understand it's time to get it together. I can't have one that is a yes partner. Everything that I say, yes, baby, yes, darling, yes, honey. No, no. I gotta have that one that say no. Now no, we're not doing that. No, that's not happening. No, you can't get that. No. And people don't think he tell me no, but he do. He tell me no. He does. He tells me no. But God knew. He knew what I needed. I didn't know what I needed. I didn't know, because if it was up to me, the way that he came and presented himself the first time, all dirty, all clayed up, looking like he had been wallowing in some little hog pen. No, no, hair looking woolly, all that. Just dirty. Just dirty. And then you bring your friends and you sit up and you stalk me.
Y'all hear
Bring it.
that?
Yes, you brought your friends. They sat outside my job
Yeah.
on the hood of the car. and they look in the window at my job, all up, and having conversations back and forth with each other while they telling him, no, she out your league. Oh no, she in college, bro. You can't talk to her. Oh no, you see she handling her business. She the manager. You can't. No, she out your league.
See?
But he still kept coming back, and they was silly enough to come right back with him and sit right out the door, gazing in the at me. And so that would have never been my thing because I'm like, you know what? I'm finna call the police because I'm sick of you.
I'm scared of the police.
I'm sick of
See, here the deal is right here. I'm gonna touch on two things. One, when you have your standards so high, remember when you look at the individual that you're looking at and figure like, he should be able to. First of all, don't put a standard on the individual you get linked up with that you can't give yourself.
Whoa.
See, that's number one.
good.
Because how you want me to give you what you can't even obtain?
Wow.
That's number
good.
one. Number two, if you're dealing with a man like me, you can't count me out because I tell you, I don't have a dime and I'm swole. Because you know what? You need to want this, not this. See, because if you get this, you can get all this. And I ain't got no.
And I got it.
Yeah, she got it. Ain't no pressure on that. Everybody know that. But see, think about that right there. How can I ask an individual to give me something that I haven't or can't obtain for myself? See, that's number one.
Good.
As far as she said stalking, I was sitting on my own car, drinking my own beer, just happened to be looking in that direction at what I like. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you go shopping, you look in the window, don't you? So I was looking in the window. And what, that word, I don't even know what you're talking about. But the real deal is, when you can do for yourself what you want them to do, don't get mad because you know what? The way things have changed, women making way more money than men. If that's my man or my mate, that's my man, that's my mate. I don't care what you talking about. Because think about it, you always flip the script, always turn it around. Because now if I'm making 250,000, 200,000 a year, and I'm looking out for you, you good. Okay, so we good. But remember now, we won. But why is it that you can make 150, 200,000, I ain't making but 40? Child, I ain't taking care of them, man. But in the nighttime, Lord Jesus. Okay, we flip the script a little bit. But it ain't even about that. I love you. I'm giving you what I got. Help me get to where you want me to be. See, that's the difference. Some things you got to work with because when you work with it, it's yours. I did that. That's mine. We did this. So when I look over, I'm proud of it because you know what? I can be all you want me to be if you show me. Because some things I don't even know. I only know what I know. I can get that, but if I haven't been exposed to that, how do you expect me to get that? Because I have the same opportunities you had. You see what I'm saying? Everybody ain't the same. People look, we own a couple of businesses. I'm the detail man. And people look at it like, you a detailer. Yeah, I'm the best in the business. Trust me. But to the average person, I wouldn't have a detailer. And I was told, dirty, truck driver. I was all that. But at the same time, you looked at me when somebody thought they asked you, was that your? I wouldn't have a truck driver is what they said. And in my mind, I was thinking you would have a truck driver, but you drive the truck driver's automobile. Wow, you and your family. You see? So it ain't never what it looked like, but it is what it is. Stop looking at or thinking that they're below you because God has no respect of person. So how could you, when you promote or elevate yourself, and I know that elevation comes from God, how do you put yourself on a pedestal that you keep falling off of?
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna touch that one. I'm not gonna touch that one. But what I am gonna say, as we bring this broadcast to a close, is you said something that is so profound. This is a give and take. You cannot expect somebody to give something that you are not willing to give or that you don't possess. You can't expect somebody to give you something that they don't possess. So we have to understand who we are. We have to understand what we possess, and we have to most of all be willing to come into a marriage understanding that there is mutual agreement
And love.
and love. And the thing is that the Lord has intended for it to be mutual.
Yeah.
Mutual agreement, mutual love, mutual pleasure, mutual. That means that we both agree and we understand that we're no longer this, but we're this. Two has become one. And so now that we have touched this topic,
Oh, yeah.
just touched it a little bit, let's let the healing begin.
And remember, we agree to
To
disagree agreeably.
Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you back here on the first Sunday in June. Looking forward to having another great broadcast. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And God's choice blessings be unto you. Until next time.
Here in this place, we humbly bow, our hearts away. Speak to us now. There is no time here, only your presence. Show us your glory. Speak to us now. Speak to us now.